All right, good afternoon, everyone. We have a bunch of note takers here on the line, but luckily also many real people, so it seems. So let's get started. For those of you who do not recognize the face, my name is Jose. I'm a co-founder at Teamspective and also one of the or leading the commercial organization. The agenda is listed as it says here. Pretty long list of points, but trust me, we will be pretty quick going through these. But let's start with some brand update topics. You may have seen this already, but we are really excited to unveil our refreshed visual identity. Really hoping you like it. We are really happy to hear your opinions or interpretations about what the new logo looks like and how it makes you feel. But the goal here has been to refresh the brand, also update it to reflect our commitment to normalizing excellent leadership, and also highlighting some of our unique value propositions, such as using the connections between people and the collaboration insights as part of the solution to improve employee engagement and performance and how your organization works. So hoping that this brand will help us communicate these things and represent the kind of clarity and connections between people better. One really practical implication from here will be that also the icons in Slack and Microsoft Teams are updating. So if you get any questions about that from your employees, you'll know what's going on. But no actions are really needed from your part. Just get used to the new logo and some of the updated colors. Yeah, that was the first really quick one. Then a second one, we have been running a leadership enablement study over the winter and spring. We have now published the first version of this. To give you a quick introduction into what is leadership enablement, for us, it means the whole set of data collection and guidance and coaching and assets that you are providing to a leader and bringing that to support the leaders in their own unique situation at the right time with the right content, with the right type of support that they need. So in the perfect world, leadership enablement would mean or would be on a such level that every leader would always know this is exactly what I need to do, this is what I should prioritize, and this is how I can do it. In reality, we are all limited by several factors there. It's never perfect. So that's why leadership enablement is a really important topic to think about and try to improve to empower your leaders. But it's also interesting to know how things are working, what could be improved. That's why we did the study. And yeah, you can get this report for free. The only thing we ask for in return is that you also participate in the study, so we can release the next version of this. So you can scan the QR code or use the link I posted in this chat to participate. It only takes 1 to 2 minutes, and yeah, I'll show you a couple of findings from the results so far soon. But overall, we have studied these topics with over 40 HR leaders, and the goal was to understand what companies are doing to enable better leadership, and also what are the common challenges in there. One finding or question in the study was to figure out what are your top challenges in improving the quality of leadership in the company. And the really revealing insight from here was that by far the most common answer was that leaders are too busy. So it's not that you have a lack of tools or processes are not in place or things like that, but leaders are simply too busy to learn or take the time to use the assets and improve the leadership. That has an important implication it also means that adding more support can only work if you also make the leader's life easier at the same time. So that's really important takeaway to keep in mind. Another potentially interesting insight was there's a question about which of these or which types of insights your leaders receive at least quarterly. So what kind of data they have available to understand better how their direct reports or their team are feeling and working and so on. And here one of the key takeaways is that there usually is quite a lot of data-backed insights, but the coverage is not complete and it's not equal. So for example, a lot of companies collect engagement survey results or data very frequently. Then performance reviews or feedback collection or getting data on collaboration between people is much less frequent. So this can mean that the attention is thrown in the wrong places, or that you might not have the data to identify the root causes behind your challenges. There's a couple of teasers there, more insights and analysis in the report. So yeah, participate in the study and you'll find out more. But now, next time for product updates. So overall, keep reading our newsletters. You should receive them in email every now and then. We might communicate via Slack if you have that in use, and some in the product as well. But we know it's hard to keep track of everything. So here are the top highlights, what we have been building in the recent months and weeks. Starting off, you all have access to this already, but there's a new results heat map in engagement surveys. So if you run engagement or pulse surveys, you will have access to this report. As you can notice, it has a new design. It now comes with much more filters or more flexible filters. You can, for example, combine filters and some cohort grouping. Yeah, it's very interactive, so you can click on a lot of things to get deeper insights about the groups or certain results. And yeah, also the cohorts are becoming more advanced. So some of you already might have this, and more will have this in the future. For example, looking at the results by cohorts in ENPS scores, so you could easily see what results actually differ and what not between your promoters and detractors and so on. But it's a really good power tool for analyzing results in detail. So if you haven't yet, do play around with that. The second one is updated sentiment analysis and open comments analysis overall. The page is still the same, but it looks very different now. And yeah, the key highlights here are that the comments are now grouped by your survey themes. So it should be easier to identify which themes are more frequently mentioned or commented on and so on. Yeah, you can easily see the statistics, sentiments. You can click on these reports as well. And again, it will highlight the most interesting insights about the comments directly in the UI. Yeah, also this hopefully gives you a much better overview of the reactions you have received in the survey, and helps especially if you have a lot of comments on the top level. Then moving on to collaboration. So on the network analysis side, there's a completely new view that will show you an overview about how connected different teams or groups are. So it's a really good tool for analyzing, well, is sales working with marketing? Are the sales teams working with each other? How is this in the product development side? Whatever is important, cross-functional collaboration in your company. Yeah, so also this graph, it's available if you have done the network survey or have integrated your Slack or calendar data and so on into collaboration. And yeah, analyze the organization, understand which people are the main connectors between different groups, and then you can use the network graph to go into more details on this. So this is a really great example of what I referred to earlier in the study results, that the collaboration data is quite often not available for leaders, and this could be one way to bridge that gap. Then on feedback and performance solutions. So if you are using that, there are a few really interesting updates. First of all, we have upgraded or updated topics to become focus areas. So it's now much more flexible. You still have those general topics set by Teamspective, but everyone can easily add their own topics. And as an admin, you can also configure workspace topics. So it could be our company values or leadership principles or things like this. With the focus areas, it makes a lot of sense to make your personal goals align here. So if I have a personal goal of improving my, let's say, communication as a leader, I could add that as one of the topics and then use that to collect feedback for myself in the next few weeks. Yeah, so these focus areas can be configured person by person. You can select your top ones, and then that will be used later in the UI to guide your feedback collection. Another update on the feedback solutions, if you have used the structured feedback, so running performance reviews or 360 feedback where you have templates in place to collect the feedback, some of the settings have now been moved to template level. So instead of deciding for your whole workspace that names are not visible in the feedback or that names are visible in the feedback, you can configure that per template now. So one example how that works is that if you run performance evaluations, you could make those anonymous, whereas at the same time you could collect 360 feedback with names attached, making it more transparent. So it more flexibly supports various feedback processes that you want to run at the same time. And then one more, and this is probably one of the most exciting ones. It's not available for you yet. It's currently in alpha testing, but we are bringing an AI coach to feedback UI, and it will help you assess and improve the quality of the feedback. So you can see on the screen now, if I just give feedback that you're great to work with, it will flag it as very bad feedback. And overall, it's not very action-oriented. It doesn't communicate a clear observation, and so on. So you can see those indications in the UI. You can get an example of feedback, how to improve it, and so on. So this is a really good example of kind of real-time coaching that you could give to your people when they give feedback to each other. But you can see here in the UI, on top of here, you can see the top 3 recommendations. So these would be actually Sam's focus areas related to the previous topic here. So working on that. And here, Sally had a question, will this be for both internal and external feedback? So overall, the answer is yes. So this is now starting from growth feedback, I think only internal, but the goal is that we bring this to every place where people are giving feedback to each other. The same principles apply, and the same the same struggle of giving high quality feedback or improving those skills exists, so it doesn't go anywhere with different stakeholders. But this is a really good way, a good way of using AI, so people don't need to learn to use it. It will work for them automatically. What else is on the roadmap? Everyone's always curious about this. So starting from the engagement solutions, we are building lifecycle surveys at the moment. So what that means that whenever there are some key events in your employee lifecycle, someone is being onboarded, there's an anniversary, someone is leaving the company, maybe a role change, and so on, you could configure automatic surveys to be sent to these people. So basically always running surveys that would collect the insights about your onboarding process or other topics. We will also improve the results pages. So there is, especially on the question level, so there's some updates coming up. The heat maps we already mentioned, and then there are some next steps in the other reporting views. So stay tuned on that. And then one more feature that will be coming up is open questions. So adding more flexibility into what kind of surveys you run. You could ask fully open questions without any rating scales. So that can also open some new opportunities for many. On the performance solutions side, so, well, you already got a glimpse on AI-assisted feedback writing. So that will help you a lot. There's also, well, our customers have many different types of processes or preferences how to run the processes. So we're also going to build like auto-publishing the results. So you can choose to skip the admin's review of the feedback before letting the employees see that. Yeah, then we also will be working on some cross-product features. So combining collaboration, feedback data, and so on to support leadership development, helping you build those plans and agendas. And then, yeah, tying more of the data also to one-to-one discussion agendas. On collaboration and the network analysis solution, few more things coming up. There's a really big focus now on improving the power analytics, so giving yourself and your analyst team more controls over the network graph. So what settings you want to use, which colors to use. Do you want to color the managers or different groups? Do you want to highlight reporting lines or maybe something else? Maybe highlight all the new employees in the graph and so on. Also adding more data sources, and then again, cross solution features. So when we have the network data, we can automatically suggest who should give feedback to each other in the 360 or performance solution. So these are all on the works. The title says near-term product roadmap. So yeah, within some weeks or a couple of months, each of these are being worked into the product.
Can I maybe add one thing for product updates? Thanks. So we will also be updating the UI pretty much entirely in the upcoming few weeks. Things will be in place, in the same place they've been before, but they will look better and more coherent. So just one more update on that list.
Thank you, Jaakko. And those of you who have not met Jaakko, he is our CEO and manages the roadmap for the products. Yeah, maybe we could take Mette's question here at the same time. Are there any plans for being able to get Excel sheets on members or groups? Yeah, so I guess related to the admin managing everything. So I think this is a very relevant feature which that we can discuss. We actually have some tools internally that our team is already using on this, and we can I can maybe follow up with you Mette, on this to help with that. All right. Next up, free beta. So we are still running this at the moment. So as you saw, the collaboration and the network analysis tool, it's developing really fast at the moment. We are especially doing that in close collaboration with selected customers who have very advanced needs on that, but we are also currently very happy to onboard more of our existing customers here to this solution to get your feedback and also see and ensure that the solutions fit well to different types of organizations. So it's a great opportunity for you to pilot what this data can bring to you, what benefits you can get without needing to make the investment decision yet. That will come later then, and you will be very educated on the topic already by them. So yeah, you should have access to the network analysis tab in the product. It will have similar content as here on the slide. And yeah, you will be able to get a network graph of your organization, look at some leadership style reports, look at that team connectivity report I presented earlier, and so on. And our team is happy to help you get started with that. So the only thing needed is to integrate your data sources, so whether that's Slack or calendars or something else, we can help you with that. All right, but as promised, many agenda points, fast pace, but we got through. Still time for a Q&A if you have any questions. One more topic actually I want to mention. If you ever have any questions, feedback to us, or face any issues, use the in-app chats, post to the Slack channel, or then send email to support@teamspective.com. Each of those will feed into our kind of support team's inbox, so you'll get quick responses. You can of course always send a one-to-one message to your account manager, but that is not guaranteed to get a fast response if there's conference days or sick leaves and so on. So those are the preferred methods. Use the in-app chat, Slack, or support@teamspective.com. Great. But any further questions? I think we had some good ones already. Yeah, I believe we answered the AI feedback question already.
Yeah, maybe one more point to add to that is growth feedback, which used to be called active for both internal and external feedback providers. So whoever is giving feedback in the web UI will have access to that AI assistant who helps you give better feedback. And later on, it's going to be also available for the structured feedback, so 360s and performance reviews and other feedback features that we support. So it's going to be in all of those.
Maybe one question I had related to the 360 feedback. So the personal or growth feedback has had a QR code that the person can send to respondents. Is this something that might be available also for the more structured feedback? I think for us, one of the things has been a bit tricky with external feedback givers that they either miss the email invitation or for some reason their information security is blocking the access to the tool. But we've seen that the link that is being used by the personal or growth feedback has been really helpful because you can send it to the respondent in Slack or Teams. Do you think that would be something that you would be looking into in the near future?
Yeah, so I can take that question. I may have missed the first two sentences because of my bad connections in that meeting booth. But if I understood correctly, you were asking about the feedback link. So is that going to be supported also in the future?
Yeah, and also, is it going to be expanded to the 360 feedback? Because now it's been part of the personal and growth feedback, but the more structured feedback would be especially beneficial for external respondents to have a QR code or a link that they can then send over Slack or Teams. So maybe that was something that had come up from our end that would help people to be able to respond to the requests.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So far, the feedback link has been available only for growth feedback. So if you're using templates, there hasn't been an option to create QR codes or links for those. But we're going to bring this up. I'm going to add that to our triage, and we'll get back to you regarding that.
Yeah. I mean, it would, at least from our perspective, we collect a lot of external feedback, be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good idea.
Perfect. Thank you, Sally. Yeah, there hasn't been any further questions in the chat, so I think we can wrap it up. Let you all get to finish your day's work, and thanks for joining. Thanks for working with us, and yeah, we'll keep you informed on those upcoming updates, and do give us feedback or wishes on anything new. Have a really good rest of the week and start of the summer.